Hey, welcome to Tuesday Tea Time with Dorina. I'm so happy that you're able to join us tonight, and we are going to have a good time learning how to deal with frustration. All right. I felt that I needed to continue to talk about it, and because there's some other subjects that I want to talk about as well. But first of all, I want to welcome all those first-time viewers. I want to welcome the those that will watch the replay, and to let you know that we are from Women of Wisdom. We are a nonprofit organization here to empower teen girls and women with practical wisdom and confidence. We are here for you to bridge that generational gap between the older and the younger generation, because we need to be passing on vital knowledge to one another and to the next generation. Okay, how about that? Okay, so I have an announcement first. You can register now for the Perfect You workshop, which is Saturday, August 13th. Our regular ticket prices now are $25 until August the 8th, and our door price $30. Teen girls 12 to 19 years old are $10. And if you need assistance with extra teen girls, you have extra teen girls, please give me a send me an email, contact me on our website. We have a contact information up under the home button, and let me know and we will make it work. Okay, because we want you to be there. All right, it's going to be an awesome time, I'm telling you. So okay, so check-in time is at 8:30 a.m. The event is from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You're not going to want to miss out on this. We do provide a light breakfast uh, when you first check in, and we have lunch. Okay, we give out lots of prizes because you already know how we are, women and teen girls. We like gifts. So we're gonna have plenty of gifts to give away, and one of our door prize is Creative Nails. Have donated to do someone nails for the door prize, and we have a gift certificate. All right. So you're not going to want to miss out on that. We are going to have a awesome time. Okay. All right. So welcome to Tuesday Tea Time with Dorina. I am doing a green tea today. And my husband, he went and brought some green tea because he was talking about how good it is for the body. And so I'm like, you know what? I need to do some green tea, good for the body. That's wisdom all by itself, right? So I have a little honey in my green tea. I know that, in China, I think they drink their green tea plain. That's why they're in such good shape. But I'm putting some honey in mine. All right. Tea time. I hope that you have your beverages as well, whether it's tea, water, juice, or whatever, and just fill your cup up with lots of wisdom tonight. All right. All right. Last time I showed you that we had like four different types of frustrations we were going to talk about, and I'm going to go over that again just so that you will have that information. The one we're talking about tonight is personal frustration. Okay, that's number one. Number two is intense fellowship frustration. That's kind of what sometimes we When me and my husband, we get into some intense uh, conversation, we call them intense fellowship. So, with that, even as painful as a toxic relationship can be with intense fellowship, it is even more painful when you let go of it. Okay, and so we're going to talk about that. Number three is pressured frustration, because a lot of times, people are trying to pressure us into things, or sometimes we get frustrated when we feel pressured, like, deadlines, school assignments. And too many of them at one time, the pressure of, trying to get to your after school athletic program or something like that, or you're in the work world and it's hurry, 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 get this done, and all this kind of stuff. So we're going to deal with that, and then we're going to deal with what I'm calling environmental frustration, and that's going to deal with our environment, you know getting frustrated, you know, with things that goes on around about us in the world, in the workplace, in, situations and circumstances of today, and how frustrating those things are, and just learning how to properly deal with our frustration, because that is so important that we learn that. Okay, so that's the four frustrations that we're gonna go over for the next few weeks. But I just really felt like I needed to just touch again on personal frustration. Okay, so let's go back over. This is our topic: uh, frustration. The struggle is real. Would you not agree with that? Okay, because we all deal with frustration. That's not something that you can just hide. It is a real issue that we deal with. Okay, now I wanted to share with you this quote because I thought, oh my goodness, this is a really good quote that will help us know how to deal with our situation. And let me see. I had a picture I was going to show you, but I'm working on my iPad, and this is rather new for me. So just be patient with me. Okay. So anyway, so to conquer frustration, one must remain intensely focused on the outcome, not the optical. Okay, or opticals. That is really good all in itself. We have to learn how to conquer frustration. And the way to do that is you have to remain intensely focused on the outcome. What kind of outcome do you want? You want peace, right? That's who wants to be frustrated all the time. And really, frustration is a temporary emotion. It should not be something that we are constantly dealing with, from frustration to frustration to frustration. There needs to be some peace, in the middle of all the turmoil, and we can experience that. We just need to know how to control the frustration, because it can be controlled. Okay, so let's look at the definition again, because that's always help. You see my little my little bracelet, my granddaughter came over and she said, Nina, because my grandkids call me Nina. She said, Nina, I got you a bracelet. And she came in wearing it and she gave it to me because, they all know I like purple. And I thought, oh, that is just so cute. So I got my little purple bracelet on from my grandbaby. Okay, so frustration is a feeling of dissatisfaction, often led by anxiety or depression, resulting from unfulfilled needs, wants, or unresolved problems. We talked about the unresolved problems last week about not sweeping issues up under the carpet because that is an absolute no. Okay, so when we deal with frustration, we often put all our focus on the problem instead of the solution. And that is the problem. We're focusing too much on the problem. And you know as well as I know, we could get so caught up in the argument or in the arguing with ourselves, because sometimes we argue with ourselves and we frustrate our own selves because we reminisce too much on the problem instead of the solution. Sometimes we frustrate ourselves because we're constantly looking at our mistakes. We're looking back at what we did, and we have to change our thoughts. And that is simply a quality decision to change your thoughts. Yes, so it can be done. The problem grows bigger, so we can create, check this out, we can create a solution list. How about that one to put in, to have a practical application? A solution list, okay, to remind us that the problem is fixable, because it is fixable, and frustration is not a permanent situation. It too shall come to pass. Okay, how about that? So keep that under your belt. Okay, frustration, we can block the thought that leads to rage, being upset, madness, and hurt. We can block that before it even gets to that point. And that's where wisdom takes its place, because frustration can lead into all kinds of devilishment, all kinds of danger if we leave it unattended to, or if we fester feed it and continue to just magnify that thing in our minds. And so the thing is, you have to change your thoughts, change your thoughts, change your mind, change your situation. How about that? That's pretty good. Let's take a tea break. Tea time. I got my favorite cup. So silver is another one of my favorite colors. And so my daughter-in-law got me this silver butterfly cup, and it's got got the little saucer to it as well. So I really like it a lot. Mm, green tea. Okay, so I found that if I did this today, if I intentionally change my thinking, it changed how I feel. I had to do that today. I was thinking about a song, and this song was filled with let's say, unbelief, something that would hinder my faith. Let's just put it like that. And so I was trying to change the words because it was just in my head. And I was trying to change the word to make it positive. And I just said, forget it. You know what? I'm just going to think of another song that is positive and that will head me in the right direction. And I just made myself think about that over and over and over again until it just drove that song out of my mind, because that too can lead to frustration. Something that's negative and doesn't have, the right lyrics to it. You got to listen to the right stuff, okay? Because that makes a difference of how you do life and having peace and not being all frustrated and worked up. Because there are some songs that you can listen to that will remind you of the negativity that you were in, or some type of relationship, or that went sour or something like that. And you know we don't need to be listening to that. I know that that don't work well for me. And so I had to change, my thinking. And that's what's good about life and thoughts. You can change them, you can control your emotions. You are not stuck. You don't have to be. You don't have to be frustrated. You don't have to let that frustration fester and grow and become some big giant that's out of control. You do not have to do that. You can change your thoughts and change your feelings, which will change your atmosphere. How about that? That's pretty good. Keep in mind that frustration will pass, okay? Frustration passes, okay? So, I had my daughter in law came from out of town, and they spent last week with us. And one of my granddaughters, she had got upset about something. And, I just told her, I said, look, I said, blow the anger out. And so, we would just go, and then, because she just thought it was funny, we just both laughed about it. And that just kind of took care of that situation. But when I was, my kids were little, and they were at home, and they would get upset and stuff, and I would give them little bitty well, not little bitty, but I would give them exercises like something like that to help them deal with their frustrations. And you know what, try it out. Because you know what, for some people it may be meditation. Maybe that works for you to maybe you just need to go out and take a walk and get some breath. And while we're saying that, sometimes it just takes a deep breath, just take a deep breath, and remind yourself that frustration is not permanent. Okay, so these are some ways that you can deal with personal frustration, because personal frustration is dealing with our own disappointments. Sometimes we don't get what we want when we want it. Sometimes we don't get what we need when we need it. And sometimes, it's just leaving problems unresolved. And those can be personal frustrations, and those too will come to pass. Okay. There's some things you just got to let them go and trust that, it will work itself out. Now, being frustrated over it is not going to make that thing work out. And so even if there's something that is not happening fast enough, maybe you're an entrepreneur, or maybe you're trying to you're in a relationship or something, and it's not moving fast enough in your eyes. you know you don't Sometimes you just gotta not try to push it and make stuff happen. You just gotta let it happen and have the patience to ride that thing out, because sometimes you can ride that out and that situation is waiting on something else to happen that will cause resolution in itself. And so we get frustrated because we're not getting what we want when we want it. It's not, happening the way we want it to happen. It may not need to happen the way we want it to. It may not need to happen at that particular time. I know that, I shared with you last week about the guy that was a co-founder of Apple, and he was saying that if you really look closely at a thing, you'll realize that a lot of stuff that are successful did not happen overnight. And so sometimes we could get frustrated because things are not happening overnight or when we want them to. And that, you know, that like I said, the struggle is real and it doesn't always happen like that. But you could go back and look at some of the other things that you have been frustrated about, and you can examine that thing and see how it did work out. Things that you've been frustrated about in the past, do you know that you're not still in that frustration, that frustration is temporary, and that situation worked it out? And sometimes you found out that you're glad that it didn't work out the way that you wanted it to, because there was a better way and you were just unaware of it. But because you just kind of cooled yourself down and waited on that thing, it worked out right. You know what? Stuff comes to pass. So don't work yourself up and get festered over your personal frustrations, because um there is a solution and it's not permanent. You better be happy that personal frustration is not permanent. Oh my goodness. How hard would that make life, right? Okay. So we all deal with obstacles and challenges, but thank goodness that they don't last forever. Okay. One thing, some of us, we are reminiscers, and we have a tendency to reminisce on thoughts of frustration, and we make a small thing huge. I know you heard the saying, we make is it a mountain out of a molehill? I'm not really good at these sayings, but we make a mountain out of a molehill because we're thinking too much and too hard about that situation, and we're frustrating ourselves because we didn't accomplish something, or we expected too much out of that situation, or we expecting too much out of ourselves, or someone else is expecting too much out of us, and we get frustrated. We don't have to allow ourselves to stay in frustration. We just got to step back and look at the reality of the issue and create a list, a solution list of how to deal with our personal frustrations. Now that's good. Okay. Avoid, you know how we are. girlfriend, you know how we are. Avoid calling a friend to rant of your frustration. You know what you're doing. You are building that thing up, and now you got somebody else that's joining in with you. Yeah, girl, I understand, and if you don't have the right person, that just creates a bigger problem for yourself. So deal with it before you get to that place where you want to call and rant about it. Really, I mean, I'm not saying that I have this all down, because I'm learning as I go as well. And and sometimes I have to catch myself, and so it's all a learning experience. And wisdom, like I told you before, wisdom is the ability to use knowledge correctly. So the experiences that we have, the knowledge that we gain out of those experiences, is where we would implement wisdom. Okay, so that's an ongoing process, that we should continue in learning how to do things correctly and properly, so that we can have good results through using wisdom. How about that? That's pretty good, huh? Believe me, I go back and I listen to this stuff my own self, so that I can apply it to my own life, because knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is powerful. Okay, so nip it in the bud, and remember that frustration is a temporary emotion, and it can be controlled. Okay, so we're going to end our Tuesday tea time with that. Well, let's end it with this, because I want to, uh, next week. Well, let's do this first. Okay. Okay, so you can see it across the screen that I have. Our workshop is Saturday, August 13th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have a light breakfast, and a lunch is provided. You are not going to want to miss this event. It is limited seating, and we are going to have a blast. And so, those that have been coming over the last few years, that the workshop has just been getting better and better. And so I'm excited. I want to give a shout out to Kohl's department store, because they are going to send us some volunteers that day, and they are going to donate. Uh, uh, they are going to financially donate for each volunteer for each hour that they are there. And so I am so thankful for Kohl's department store believing in us, sponsoring us, and being such a blessing to women of wisdom. All right. So next Tuesday, we're going to continue with the topic of frustration, but we're going to talk about intense fellowship. So you're not going to want to miss out on that. So tune back in with us next Tuesday at 8 p.m. for Tuesday Tea Time with Dorina. And remember, as always, walk in wisdom. All right. Good night.